Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's finish up with middleware here. In the previous video, we started adding middleware here, but we did not give it any functionality so far. So what middleware is a restriction, so that before somebody has access to a page, we let them go through a few checks to see if they match whatever criteria is required to load that page. So in this case, if I say admin, I can create an admin middleware, and then or authentication middleware. You can name these guys whatever you want. So what we will do instead is we'll create a folder here called middleware in our classes. So I'm going to right click in the classes folder here and create a new folder. So this one will be middleware, like that. Okay, so hopefully I had created a folder called middlewares in here, but now, like I said, you can implement middleware in all kinds of ways. There are ways that are simpler with advantages and disadvantages and so on. But what I'm going to do is maybe we'll get rid of this folder. But for now, let's go to this middleware with a capital M, because it's going to be like the namespace, just like we are doing over here. So in here, I'm going to add whatever names that I give my middleware here. I'll just make sure those classes exist in here. So I'm going to right click, for example, here and say new file, right? So in here, I want to create a class which matches the name of the middleware. Okay, so let me save this guy. I'm going to save this one as admin.php. Okay, so if I now type class like that, now you can put some descriptions here. This one is class admin. Okay, so it needs to have that namespace so we can find it. Namespace middleware. Okay, so there we go. So this is the admin middleware class. Now this can extend whatever you want, because sometimes you may need to check in the database and all that. So maybe we could extend database. That way it has access to our database in case we need to. Now you don't have to do that. It's up to you. Now in here we should have only like one function, so that we always know what function to run when we load these pages. So this one will be a public function, of course, so that we can run it from the outside. Now I can just call it index or whatever. It doesn't really matter at this point. So there we go, index, and we run some code. Now for now, we're just going to echo and say checking if user is admin, just to know that it's going to run when we want it to run, right? Okay. So maybe as well, I'm just going to, maybe instead of this, let's use the dd function so that it's much more clearer when we have this text showing on the page, something like that. Okay, good. That is our middleware. So now what we do is, since in our routes here, there's this third param here of middleware, and it's an array, we're going to go to our router. This is the inside the core router class right there. So in here, we will have middlewares. Now this one is going to be private as well, because we're not accessing it from the outside. Middleware is equal to array, empty array, like that. Okay. Okay. Now the thing is, we should have something that matches we need to know which routes contain which middleware. That is important. So the same way it's routes, get, and we're adding these guys there. We need a system to know what's connected to what. Now, instead of worrying about wait a second here. Okay, so since we already have a system here where we save an actual array, we can just add middleware at the end here, right? Yeah, we can just do that. So what I'm going to do is on the get and on the post, at the end here, I'm going to add an optional thing for middleware. So let's do that. Middleware is equal to empty array, like that. Then at the end of these, we add the middleware. So we will call it middleware, like that, and then add middleware, like that. Okay, so that each path that we add actually moves with its own middleware there. Okay, good. Now in the group, so which means now even with just the get function, we can add middleware to one single route, which is great. And then if we go to the group section here, we do exactly the same thing we did here. Now this one, let me change it to current middleware, like that, something like that. So that I put that here, current middleware, and then here on the group, we will expect middleware as well as an optional value, like that. Okay, so let's add middleware here as well. So what's happening is that when we run a group and it turns out there's a prefix and then there's the function, and then after that we could add arrays of middleware. If we do that, it's saved here. Otherwise it's empty, which is fine. But then once we are done with, because when we run this function here, there is current middleware that is saved in there for just a short time. So once we are done with that, just like we did with this, we empty those so that we don't give the wrong middleware to the wrong routes after this process is done. So now in here, wait, is this current middleware? So when we do a callback function here, wait a minute. Where is that? Routes. Okay, so there's a callback function here. Now we could just put that middleware here, but I think that would be a bit messy. So what do we do here? I want to add middleware to this. So what I'm going to do is, once this middleware is in here, we will check to see if this is not empty. Okay, if it is empty, then we can append. If it's not empty, sorry, we can append. So what I would do is this. Let's come back here and say middleware is equal to, so imagine, let me come back here. Let me give an imaginary scenario. So let's say, for example, on this just upload video, I want extra security here. I could add my own middleware here, like video upload or something. I don't know. We have to name it in such a way that it can be a class name, something like that. Okay. So which means with all these routes, I need to be an admin at least. But then when I access this one, I need to additionally have this authority here. Okay. So I need to be able to append this to whatever is already existing, like right now. So all these will have admin middleware, but this one will have an extra one, like that. So we need to take that into consideration. So let me undo that. Okay, so if I come back here to router, what I'm trying to do is, instead of just adding this middleware directly here, I want to check if there's some current middleware that was added by the group, and then append that or add that to it. So here I'm just going to say array merge, right? There's array merge where you can connect one or two arrays together. So the first one is current middleware at the top there, which could be empty, right? And then the middleware from the route itself, in case it has something. So sometimes we'll find that the group has middleware, but this one does not. But it doesn't matter. It will just combine those and then give you ultimate middleware. So let me copy that here and paste that on that side here as well. Okay, good. So now we are dealing with middleware. So how do we run this middleware anyway? So once we get to this part where we are sure of our path, okay, so before we require this file here, let's run some middlewares here. Run some middleware right above here, right about here, right before we connect anything and allow access. Okay, so what do? We go through the given middleware, and we can get that by where is this routes method, and then there's this route thingy here which contains the path and the middleware. So if, let's say, if not empty, okay, route middleware, like that. So there's some middleware in here. Let's run those. So all we need to do is just run the stuff in here. Now, if I look at one of these middlewares, it's just a class. So I need to find this class that's named middleware and admin, right? So if it's part of this, let's just see if it can be instantiated. So first of all, I'm just going to say class. I'm just going to call it class, or you can call it my class to avoid confusion. My class is equal to new. Okay. Now I want to instantiate that one, but let's say if not empty, middleware. So this is an array actually. So we have to do a for each loop. I almost forgot that. So that's route. Oopsie. Route middleware. Oopsie daisy. Okay. As I'll just name it MW for middleware, short for that, because we'll get confused eventually. So we want to run each one of these. And each one of them should have an index function there by default. So here, this one, MW, we're going to say UC first. MW, something like that. Yeah, let me duplicate this. So MW is equal to UC first, MW, like that, so that it's capitalized, right? And then I want to, what am I trying to do here? I want to instantiate that MW. So I'm going to say is equal to new, okay, that MW, like so. Okay, now I know that it must be in the namespace middleware. So what I would do is I'm just going to do this and that, like so. And hopefully that actually works. This looks very strange, but let's see if it actually does work. Here I'm going to say DD. I want to see what's inside my class and just make sure we don't have errors at this point. So I need to access a route that actually has middleware, and admin has that middleware. So let's see if that will actually work. So let me refresh. Okay, so there's a syntax error on line 73 in the router. Yeah, what do you know? It's right there. I thought so. So let's put double quotes on the outside here, just to tell it that it should evaluate this before trying to run it. Now, when you put a slash like this, it actually escapes this value, and this is ignored because it's an escape character. Just as you can see, this one is changing color. So we need to double these up to make sure we tell it that these are literal strings in there. Okay, so let's try this again. Fingers crossed. Okay, unexpected double quote mark on line 73. Okay, what I'll do is I'll put this inside brackets as well. Like that, so that it evaluates, and then, you know, it doesn't interfere with new, because usually the new keyword does not expect quotes as the next thing, right? But brackets, maybe it might be forgiving of those. Let me refresh. Let's see. Okay, undefined variable, current middleware. on line 28. Really? Wait. Where is that? Line 28. Haven't we done this already? Oh, right. So we need to say this like that because it's part of the class. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. It's easy to forget these small little things. Let me refresh. Okay, so uncaught error. Class middleware admin not found. Okay, so at least we're making progress because it seems it knows what I'm talking about. Okay, so that class is not found. But why? It should be found because what is going on? Fatal error. Okay, so when a class is not found, what do? We run the init. Inside the init here, oh, we don't have that, do we? We should have this, no? This is rather interesting indeed. Wait, we don't have an autoloader here? Okay, apparently, oh yes we do. There we go. I was getting confused. How are the classes being loaded? Okay, so let's look at class name. Okay, let's look at what we're receiving here and what file it's trying to find. Okay, so let me refresh. I think there's something wrong there. Okay, so it's core router. Why? That's all? That's weird. Okay, let's go back to init just a sec here. So we do that, config, and then we run routes. Okay. This should work. Why is not working? Okay, you know what? Let's not rely on the autoloader, shall we? Let me go back to here. Where is that? Where did I change something? Here. Undo that. Let's not rely on that guy. Let me just look for the file, right? Let's just copy this. Let's go to the router in here, in the interest of saving time. So once we go through this, at this point I should try and find the file. So I'm going to paste this text. We're going to say file is equal to. So we are thinking we are in the public folder, then we go up into classes, and then here we want to go to the folder called middleware, right? And then there's a slash there, and then we don't need to replace anything. We just need to give this name here over here. So I'm just gonna paste this here. So this file must exist. If the file exists, require the file and then try to run it. So let's check it out. Let me refresh. Class file not found. What is it talking about? Middleware database. Why? Which line is this? Oh, right. PHP admin line 8. So it's actually working. The problem is, let's go to the admin here. The problem is, of course, database cannot be found because we've changed the namespace. So here we say we want to use core database, like so. Yes, we use that so that when we say database here, it knows we're talking about the one inside the core side. So let me refresh now. Let's see what happens. Okay, so uncaught error, class middleware not found. Why are we back here again? Okay, this is in router line 77. Where is this? Oh, so maybe that was the issue in the beginning. Where is that? Line 77. Boom. Wait a minute. Middleware admin. Why are we back here again? Oh, okay. So only if the file exists should we run this. Okay, let me do this. Let's move here a bit, like so. Let's refresh. Okay. Still having that problem? Line 77, right there. Okay, let me see what's inside file. Come on. You know, troubleshooting is the most painful part of programming, but the most rewarding. Okay, so there we go. App, class, middleware. So this has been loaded. So what's missing then? Okay, maybe it's these brackets I'm adding here. They're becoming part of the thing. So let me just remove those. I think that's my mistake. Sorry about that, guys. I think the brackets should be added outside the thingy, like so. If I need to. I don't need to in this case, but just in case you have to, maybe you have an auto. Oh, there we go. Now that's working. So now figuring out problems like this can be tough sometimes because you end up, some of this stuff gets better with experience. So you can go online and check what others, what problems others had, and then over time you build up this resilience of, what do you call it? This wall or knowledge of experience, and you'll be much better at solving these problems. Okay, so our class is running, which is cool. Yeah, cannot declare middleware admin because the name already in use. Okay, so the reason is because I'm loading this file at all. So I need to remove this completely. I don't need it because the autoloader is working at the same time. So wait, what have I done? Okay, so I need to remove all of that, like so. Okay, so if I refresh that, this should go, this final error down here, and there we go. So that error is gone as well. So let me just die here so that we see what's going on. My laptop battery is almost dead. Okay, so there we go. Look at that. I know. Look at that. Very good. So our middleware can run now. Okay, so all we need to do is tell it to actually run. So here I can just say, instead of doing this dd here, I can just say my class index, like that. Like so. And that's it. They need to show me that it's checking whether we are an admin or not. Let's see. Checking if user is admin. Okay, pretty good. Let me just put this properly and we can call it a day. Like so and like that. Let me remove the die here. Cool. So now our middleware will run for as long as the file exists. It's going to run. Okay.